one of the very many activities that we have as a part of this institution. Just to have an idea of how many of you are from Amrita and how many of you are from other places. Is there anyone from other places? You have some people. And if you are from Amrita, you may actually find yourself in this presentation. There is I would call it a phenomena that's happening around here in Amrita. It's called the ABC campaign. It's called the Amala Bharatham Campaign. For those of you who do not understand Sanskrit, Amala means something that is not impure, and Bharata is another word for, ancient word for India. So Amala Bharata actually means clean India. So this is the Clean India campaign, and a very fundamental concept in Hinduism is that creation and creator are not different. And this is the point that Amma stresses on very frequently, that you have to consider creation as an expression of the creator. And the whole philosophy revolves around this. Now, if you have this as your philosophy, then automatically you have reverence to everything that you see in and around you. Whether it's you worship, that's why you worship trees, that's why you worship stones, that's why you worship animals. And so actually it's a very environmentally friendly religion, so to speak. So if you do look at nature as a part or an expression of the creator, then nature becomes your mother, and it's the nature that sustains you. While we have this very ancient background to us, we're moving, as in the previous speech, really fast in terms of technology, in terms of GDP, in terms of economic development. On one side, India is racing along that side, but somewhere along the line, we've actually forgotten what it was that actually held us together, the core values that actually held us together. For example, there was a recent mission to the moon. It was called a Chandrayaan, and Chandrayaan actually found water on the moon. So great, we can find water on the moon, but what exactly are we doing with water back home? And that's a picture of the Yamuna, and there's a Taj Mahal in the background. Great, so maybe we can go and pollute the moon too. Not talking like that. So this picture actually, let me give you an analogy. It's like there's this man, and he's done very well for himself in life. A good middle-aged man. He has a beautiful wife. He has 2 adorable children. He has a beautiful house. He has the best car that you can think of and a dream job. But there's one problem. Even though he has all this, every day at night, he wets his bed. It's the kind of situation we are in India. We are moving forward. We've kind of grown, so to speak, in so many aspects in our life, but there's some things that have to be changed that we haven't changed, that some things that we have to grow out of that we haven't grown out of. So it's very important to define what values we need to keep and what values we need to change. So if you look at just the statistics in India, you know that there are millions of children who die below the age of 5 who die because of bad sanitation and because of diseases like diarrhea. You have about 70% of the Indian population do not have access to good sanitation and drinking water, which is actually quite a tremendous statistic if you actually think about it. Next slide, please. And just in the year 2010, 65 million tons of waste was generated. This is for the whole of India. And 72% of them comes from urban areas. And most of them, the amount of money that we use in dealing with the waste, about 60 to 70% of the money actually goes in actually sorting to the garbage, and maybe 20 to 30% in transportation. But what exactly we do with the waste, nobody knows, because we probably just all dump it in one place and that's all we do, because there's no money actually being spent in actually managing the waste. And this is a very unfortunate fact in India. So with all this as a background, let me come to the main campaign, the ABC campaign. It started actually way back in 2004 when a group, student volunteer group from the Amritapuri campus, they started cleaning every year on the 15th of August, as a tribute to the Indian Independence Day, they would clean one area, any area. They would pick an area and they would clean it. So in 2010, on the 15th of August, they had gone to Amma to ask which area they should clean. And Amma said, well, it's really nice that you're doing it once a year, but I mean, come to think of it, it's not enough. Maybe you should do a lot more. And she gave them very extensive, detailed instructions on how to clean, where to clean, and what all areas they need to concentrate on. And that 15th of August, the cleaning that happened was actually very, very appreciated. It got very good response, and suddenly there were a lot of students that were interested in participating in the cleaning activities. So on the 27th of September 2010, on Amma's birthday, as a tribute to the amount of work that Amma does, there was a pledge taken by millions of people who attended the program that they would work towards cleaning up of India. And this just started snowballing. And soon, every little group, I know it happened in Coimbatore here, there were people in Madras, there were people in Delhi, there were people in Mumbai, and suddenly everybody started pledging and things started speeding up, and now we actually have a movement, and we call that the Amala Bharatham Campaign. So the main components of this campaign is one, massive cleaning. You have huge groups of people getting together and starting to cleaning up places, and awareness campaigns to teach people what and how they can keep their place clean and how they can manage their waste. I can't really read those slides, but the other one is pledges. A lot of young and old people have taken pledges in doing their part to keep the country clean, trying to develop new technology for waste management, building public toilets, because in India we have no public toilet access. I mean, it's very minimal. So building public toilets, and also building some kind of a repository for this kind of knowledge, which is context, which has it's relevant to India. You have a lot of information like this on the web, but it's not context-based, not that relevant to India. So as far as the cleanup drives, we have had about 150 cleanup drives since September. The awareness campaign, we were able to reach out to date at least to 4 million people. And this is a hard statistic. I mean, we actually have a solid count of about 4 million people. We have more than 15,000 volunteers who have participated in these cleanup drives. And the pledge has been taken by over 1 million people. And as a part of this campaign, every 4th Sunday of the month has been reserved as a clean Sunday in which everybody gets out and cleans up their neighborhood. There's additional statistics of how much of garbage we've managed to get together, how many districts and how many sub-districts have we adopted in trying to get them to be a clean area. These are all the places. The movement was initially started in Kerala, but it spread to Tamil Nadu, to Maharashtra, and to New Delhi. In Kerala, every main district in Kerala has been involved in the cleanup drive, and all the major towns and cities within these districts have actually participated. So just to give you an overview of how exactly you do it. Usually a group of people would go to a site, identify the site, how they're going to clean, what they're going to clean up, try to make an estimate of what exactly is required to clean up that site in terms of tools, in terms of bags, in terms of manpower, in terms of anything extra that they may need to actually clean up that place. Then they take the total, they have a volunteer sign up, they sign up all the volunteers, then they give them instructions. All the volunteers, of course, there you have a crash course on how to sort garbage, and they all go, and then they take an area, they split it up into zones, and each group has a group leader, and they go to these zones and they start cleaning up, and they sort the trash as far as possible on the location. They bag it up, and then whatever is part of composting, what can be composted is taken and composted, and what can be sold as plastic waste is sold as plastic waste. Whatever they can do, they've done. So far, as soon as the Amala Bharatham campaign has started, we've had a lot of appreciation from the local governments. For like today in the newspaper, the Coimbatore government has decided to put recycling bins throughout the city. This is the response to the Amala Bharatham campaign. And Swamiji was telling me that the day that they did the first cleanup, the very next day, they made a ban, they banned spitting. Spitting is a huge problem in India. So they banned spitting in the Coimbatore area. So if anybody spits, they're fined. I don't know how far it's taken off, but the fact that people have been so moved to actually participate that we're able to change by our group actions what legislation and what the policies are of the country. Just give me a quick view of this is in Delhi. This is one very, very busy road in Delhi. It is like really dirty. There's all the government officials and Swamiji taking the pledge to clean India. And this is the before and after pictures. This is the after picture. Pretty dramatic, huh? This is the bus stand in Coimbatore. All those who were involved in this, great work. Next. As after it's been cleaned. This is the public toilet. After it's been cleaned. This is a very interesting area. This is in Kerala. It's called the Sashtang Water Lake. It's a freshwater lake. And it supplies drinking water to the entire Kollam district. And it was filled with garbage. Filled with garbage. So the students from Amrita University in Amritapuri actually sat and cleaned up that whole thing. And oh my God, I think they were thinking twice about drinking that water when the time they were done with it. But the most of the garbage that they realized was actually plastic bottles and liquor bottles. And there are a lot of lessons that were learned in the part of the cleanup drive. One of the very interesting thing that one student observed was, he said, Didi, there's no topsoil anymore. So we started picking up the garbage. And okay, there was one layer of garbage. And we think, oh, we're done. But then there's another layer of garbage from another year, just below that. And as you keep going down, there are layers and layers and layers of accumulated garbage. And the plastic doesn't dissolve, not for 1,000 years. So you have, plastic must have come, I don't know, some 50 years ago, not 50 years ago, maybe later than that into the country. So you have garbage and plastic from then on. It's almost like you can't tell it from the soil, but it's plastic because it feels like plastic, but it's brown and it's yucky and nothing grows there. So you're poisoning your land and you're making your land in such a way that nothing will grow except weeds. And you're talking about population, when the man before was talking about what a big population we have, what a young population we have. A very interesting thing comes to my mind at this point of time. Amma always says, you can never treat the earth like it's an inheritance you're going to leave for your children. You always treat it as a loan that you've taken from your children. So you always have to pay it back with interest. So you don't leave it worse than what you had it when you came in. You leave it much better. Because ultimately the people who are going to actually suffer from this is the children. It's not you. 10 years down the road when you don't have any water to drink, it's your children that are going to suffer. It's very important to keep this in mind. So awareness becomes very, very, very critical at this point. And so we have posters like this that are put everywhere. The main products, make sure you dispose your garbage properly. Make sure you don't spit on the road. Spitting is a huge problem because I don't know from where it came, but especially in the north, I think it's not so much in the south, but people actually spit anywhere. In olden days, they used to have spittoons, but they don't have those anymore, so people just spit anywhere. And the other thing is people urinate just everywhere. So these are the three things that they are trying to say, please do not do. Make sure that you don't have, and talk to people about what are the public health implications of actually doing this. These are the posters that they set up for Clean Sunday, the posters that they have placed. This is in Mumbai, telling people not to do, not to spit, not to pee. And this is the school children that got involved. So the school children can't really do that much hard work, and not in the sense of not sorting and things like that. But they do a lot of the campaigning in the sense of awareness campaigning. So they go talk to the people, they're distributing handkerchiefs. So if you want to spit and you have the urge to spit, so you spit into your hanky and you keep it with you and you can wash your hanky and reuse your hanky. So you don't go spitting all around. And these are other than that, what do we do with the waste? Okay, the other problem that these people said that you gather the waste and there's huge truckloads of waste that you gather. So what do you do with the waste? And the government of India doesn't have a very good infrastructure for dealing with the waste. They just take it and dump it. At least in some places they take it, in some places they don't even take it. So it's just there lying on the side of the road. What do you do with the waste? So you can be creative. It's an extensive process. You actually do creative things with plastic as it is. But other than this, the MUT has been actually pushing the government officials to try and set up huge plastic recycling plants. There are actually some pretty good technology out there that can actually convert plastic into petrol. So right now, there's a dialogue going on between the MA MUT by the Arapura Collector and the Arapura constituency to set up this plant that would actually convert plastic to petrol. And the technology is actually indigenous to India, and it's supposed to be quite successful. So, but those are mass scale things, and those are on the government level, so they take time. But in the meantime, we're trying to be as creative as possible. Apart from making things like this, there are also ways where you can compact all the plastics, and through a kind of a chemical process, you make plastic pellets. And I believe that that's happening here in Coimbatore. If I'm not, I don't know if the professor who's involved in that is here. But the other thing is with the vegetable waste and biodegradable waste, you can actually compost it and you can actually grow vegetables. One of the things that Amma has always insisted is that at least once in a week we grow our own food so that you know the value of actually the food that you eat. So to teach every household composting, which is not that difficult to do, and to use that compost as a mulch for a vegetable garden. So this is happening. Every household in the district, in the area around the ashram, has been taught how to compost their vegetable waste. We also have the Amala Bharatham website, which has every single thing that you need to know about starting a massive cleanup, how to recycle, how to compost. All the information that we have gathered through our experience and what we have managed to collect is all available on this website, and we hope to keep adding to it. Apart from that, we are also taking up small areas, trying to make them sustainable villages in terms of solid waste management, either to make, with the help of either biogas, depending on what technology is conducive to that area, help identify it, get government grants, or get companies interested in investing. And the first village that has been taken up by the Amritapuri campus is in Alapad district, Alapad Panchayat, and that's a photograph of that village. Can we go next? There's the pledges. So as a part of this campaign, it's very important that we get everybody in India to commit to this. It's not a bad thing, it's a very good thing. So if you can actually commit to this really, really critical step, it would be wonderful. And so as a part of that, can you go to the next slide? I would request, maybe not the non-Indians in the group, but maybe all the Indians, would be nice if you could rise and take the pledge with me, if that's okay. It would be nice if you could repeat after me. The earth is my mother. I am aware that cleanliness is godliness. Hence, I will work dedicatedly for the realization of environmental cleanliness and hygiene in thought and action as the guiding principle of my life. This is very essential for the betterment of society. Swachha Bharatam, Sundara Bharatam. Jai Hind.